G'day, I'm Doug. Welcome to the Doug Sachs YouTube channel. A little bit different tonight. I've got a few interesting coins to share with you. These are some triangular coins, 1 ounce 999 silver coins from the Royal Australia Mint. They were produced between 2019 and 2021 by the RAM. And it was quite a bold decision for them to make the triangular coins. But let's get into the content. Tonight we're talking about shipwrecks. Treasure, mutiny, disaster. Would have been tough. Back in the days, Australia was an island, it still is. Everyone got here by ship. And these wrecks, I believe, all happened before Australia was even discovered. They were all Dutch ships heading for Jakarta, and they'd all run afoul off the coast of Western Australia. The interestingly, that on the obverse of each of these coins, it's only got a little tiny picture of the Queen Elizabeth on it. But it's got a really detailed, they've got really detailed artwork on both sides. On the reverse, they've got the actual ship depicted, and it's designed to be read in two different ways, which I'll show you shortly. And then on the obverse, it's got a small picture of the Queen, but it's got a picture of like the wreckage or the aftermath of the wreck of these boats. Each of the coins was a mintage of only 20,000 units, and if you got a gold one, they were only at 250 pieces each. So this is an interesting one. We'll start it off with the 2019 Batavia coin. So you can see there the picture of the ship upright, the Batavia, but the coin's designed to be read two different directions, whether that's as it's sinking, but yeah, or just to depict that it went down. On the obverse, you've got the Queen there, $1, and a picture of the wreckage. The Batavia was a horrible, actually a really well-known story about in Western Australian history, pre-European settlement. But the ship was en route from Amsterdam to Batavia, and which was part of the Dutch East Indies, which became Indonesia. They had they'd struck a reef off the coast of Western Australia in 1629. The crew managed to get ashore on an island. About 40 people drowned out of the 322 on board. But after realising there was no fresh water and limited foods on the island, they headed to the mainland in a 9.1 metre longboat, only to discover there was very little fresh water available. Very hostile coast in Western Australia. Where I live up north, they say it's where the desert meets the sea. So there was actually a mutiny on the Batavia while they were wrecked on the island, and one group left to go back to try and make their way to the Dutch East Indies, and the other group left staying there with soldiers gaining control of the remaining passengers. Yeah, it was a real horror story. They systematically killed a lot of people. I believe it was 110 men, women, and children died after the crew had left to go back to Indonesia to get help. They ended up getting rescued. They made it back to Batavia, Jakarta now, and ended up, coming back to rescue them. With reinforcements, they captured all the mutineers, and they held trials on the islands with the worst offenders hanged and having their hands cut off. So yeah, that's quite a famous one in Western Australia with that shipwreck. The next one is a 2020. I can't pronounce it very well, but I believe it's called the Vagould Drake. Beautiful looking ship there. Those big old sailing boats were amazing. And they were actually quite small. When I look at the big iron ore carriers that come in and out of this town, you see these things, and they were actually tiny. There's the old first now. This one struck another uncharted reef in 1656. Same thing on its way to Batavia. The reef gutted the ship, but only 75 of the crew survived, along with a small quantity of provisions and a single boat. They took the small boat and 6 crew on an astonishing journey and reached Batavia and recorded the wreck. Several attempts were made to rescue the survivors, but they were never located. The wreck was discovered in 1963 and excavated in 1972. Some 19,000 coins were recovered, mainly Spanish reals and some Japanese silver coins. The mystery of what happened to the survivors of the Vagould Drake has never been answered. The Zeitdorp. A lot of these coins, the names of these ships would be quite well known to anyone in Western Australia. There's a lot of coastal area. It's a huge coastline here. And there's several areas have been named after these ships. The Zeitdorp had more than 200 men on board and a precious cargo comprising 250,000 silver coins. After nearly 7 months at sea with scurvy claiming the lives of many men, they continued the journey from the Cape of Good Hope via the Indian Ocean. They never arrived in Batavia, and no knowledge of where it may have sunk or whether it may have been taken by pirates. There was no search ever made. The wreck was found more than 200 years later, off the coast of Western Australia, along a stretch now known as the Zeitdorp Cliffs. Divers of the wreck have reported a carpet of silver, the result of thousands of silver coins strewn along the ocean floor. These coins, inscribed with Zealand and 1711, helped identify the wreck as the ill-fated Zeitdorp, which still abounds in mystery today. And this is the Shipwreck 2021 coin. Left the Netherlands in 1726 heading for Batavia with 208 seamen and a rich cargo of more than 315,000 guilders in 10 chests. They lost 28 men by the time it reached the Cape of Good Hope in 1727, but further disaster struck soon when the Shipwreck hit reef off the Western Australian coast. They set up camp on a nearby island, saving the chests of guilders. 11 of the survivors later launched a longboat to raise the alarm in Batavia. Tragically, these men were never seen again. Meanwhile, the remaining crew salvaged material from the Shipwreck's wreck and ingeniously built another boat named Slopey, reinforced with local mangrove timber. More than 10 months after being shipwrecked, the men and chests of guilders set sail in Slopey, and after just 4 weeks, 82 survivors victoriously landed at Batavia in their mateship boat. The Shipwreck was the last Dutch East Indiaman to be wrecked off the Western Australian coast, and the Slopey was the first boat built by Europeans in Australia. So there's some interesting coins, and yeah, they predate the landing in Australia by the English. They recognise that they predate the landing before Captain Cook and in Australia, or settlement of Australia, and quite an interesting thing because the Indonesia, which is a massive island continent with thousands of islands, at that stage was run pretty well, owned by the Dutch East India Company, and they ruled the waves. The Indonesian islands were actually known as the Spice Islands, and a lot of without that trade back then, a lot of spices that we actually use in our food would never have made Europe back at that stage. So that's just a short video from me tonight. Sorry if it wasn't the most pleasant topic, but history can be cruel at times, and I think we still have to respect the men and women that sailed on those ships. Really brave. So thanks for joining me. Please give me a like or make a comment on my on the video, and thanks for checking it out. We'll catch you next time. See ya.